Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to SMG Tutorial Tuesdays. Today I'm going to show you guys a real cool trick on how to gate your drums without actually using a gate. Really? What the hell? How the hell can you do that? You actually just use a compressor. I'm going to pull up a mix I did a few weeks back for the Sigma demo, and it was this awesome piece by Jackson Ward and Eric Arco. Lots of drums going on there, and they're sounding really good. I mean, like, we're using the PSP Infinity Strip for this, and I mean, like, just on the snare. That's really nice. You know what I mean? However, you can do the exact same thing just in Reaper without any paid plugins. You can just use what's built in and just use the RIA comp. Getting the same thing. I've got the gate muted here. Maybe even a little bit better. Maybe not. It really depends on your personal taste, but this is what we're getting. Okay, so I got to give credit where credit's due. Been hanging out with Warren. I saw him do this on his show a few weeks back, and I thought, I wonder how well that would work on metal drums. So I thought I'd pull up some tracks and show you guys the same thing. In case you haven't subscribed to Warren's channel, please do over at Produce Like a Pro. He's an awesome dude, and he's got some awesome content. Maybe not so much metal content, but you get the idea. Just a great dude. Anyway. So the whole idea comes across as this. Like if I take a look at my snare drum here, we've got a snare top and a snare bottom, and we've got our PSP Infinity Strip doing all the heavy lifting. We've got the preamp, you know, kind of charging things up a little bit here with the drive control. That's just awesome. And we got the gate, which is really amazing. A little bit of a high pass filter. FET compressor, 1176 style compressor, SSL type EQ, and then a VCA limiter on the back end. This PSP Infinity Strip's become my go-to toolbox these days. It's just awesome. If we take this off, with all that compression going on here, hell, that's just... When you start hitting it with the compressor and the limiter, you get an awful lot of bleed, and that's generally what we don't want. I mean, like, obviously, you sample guys can just play the freaking sample and not have to worry about that. This is a little bit different way of dealing with things, but we're definitely getting the drummer on this. And I mean, like, if you want to blend samples, I guess you can do that, but it's not going to make it as exciting, that's for sure. It's just going to make it easy. And easy always doesn't necessarily mean better. So what we're going to do here is we're going to duplicate the snare top and the snare bottom. And I'm going to show you a real cool trick here. I'm going to show you how it looks a few steps down the road when we apply it to the entire mix, but let me show you how to just do it on snare drum here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take those mics, we're going to duplicate them, we're going to flip the face so they cancel each other out. This is where it gets interesting. So we're going to grab our snare top track here, just solo that up. That's where most of the bleed is anyway. Bit of kick bleed in the bottom mic. Love the sound of that bottom mic. That's a large diaphragm condenser, an AKG 214. I think we did one the other day with James Payne with this, which was the LCT 440 Pure on a bottom snare, and it sounded absolutely amazing as well. So there you go. Other shout outs to stuff I'm using right now. Checking out my mix on the Austrian Audio High X55s. These are really freaking cool. I'm going to have a full review coming up on these real soon. And of course, I got my Babyface Pro that I'm working off of right now. This is my portable rig, and it is absolutely freaking stellar. Now, let's take a look at this. So, snare top, all the bleed. So what we want to do is want to go to track here and duplicate tracks. It's that simple. Actually, you know what? We're going to do both. Do it one step. So we'll highlight the snare top, snare bottom, duplicate tracks. So there we go. We've got a duplicate snare top and duplicate snare bottom. It's going to make it louder. So what we want to do is we want to flip phase. So it cancels itself out. That's annulled. So they're an exact duplicate of each other. So there's our 4 snare tracks now. So instead of 2, we've got 4, but there's a method to the madness. We got them both nulled out like this. We get nothing, even though it's playing. We just move the volume slightly. It's there. There we go. So what we want to do is we want to grab the RIA count. We're going to throw it on here. Throw the attack to nothing. Release here. Ratio. We're going to increase this to a 10-to-1 ratio. So we're in limiting territory. Even if we crank that, it should be fine. If we play with the knee, you can hear that it affects the sustain. It's almost so it doesn't close. That's pretty cool. Now we can play with the release time on this. We can just get that piff, 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 piff. If we want a bit of sustain. We want to hear a bit of that note sustain. Sure, why not? Let's keep it right there. Cool thing is we can do the exact same thing to the bottom snare mic, but we can treat it differently because it's a different style of bleed. Because we're getting a little bit of that kick bleed going on. Let's bring that down over here. Let's sustain that out a little bit. A whole lot less kick bleeding in here. We're mainly concerned with the hi-hat and the cymbal bleed on the top mic, and then maybe a tiny bit of kick bleed on the bottom mic. Maybe can put them together. Put them together on the single channel. We've got this all going to my snare bus. What do we get? Hey, that's not bad. That's not even going to reverb yet. Take that back a bit. Maybe a little excessive there. Of course, we're using the PSP 2445 reverb, which is an EMT style reverb. These guys modeled this original EMT digital reverb. This is kind of becoming one of my favorite drum reverbs ever. This is just insane. Of course, we can take that down a little bit. Don't need a lot. Let's hear that. Very, very cool. So once again, just a quick recap. All you're doing is adding the Rhea comp here. And you're just playing with the release. You want to keep your ratio cranked and then your threshold. And you've got a perfect gate every single time. Now if we come over here. You heard just a tiny bit of that little psh, psh, psh of the hi-hat there where he starts leaning in on it, but it's nothing like what it used to be. And if we want to take that out a little more, we can play with the release time on this top mic. So we're just getting that initial attack, and then all the sustain of the drum is coming from the bottom mic. Let's hear that all together now. Still got that crack from the top though, which is amazing. We can probably even take that top EQ up just ever so slightly here. A little bit more sweetness there. And let's hear that in the mix. That's freaking cool. Now I've got another version of this mix I did a little bit earlier in the week. Just wanted to make sure I had everything in order. And I did the exact same thing on the kick drum. As you can see, I've got everything duplicated here. And this totally gives us a super clean kick. If we use the traditional gate on the PSP from the original mix, same idea. You can see I just got the 3, and then I've got the Infinity Strip with the gate here. We're getting a lot of the bottom snare bleeding into the kick mic, which can be cool at times. You don't necessarily have to take it out every single time. You can mix to taste. That's what makes it freaking cool. That's fine, but if you want super clean and for absolutely free, do the exact same thing. Use the compressor idea. And just duplicate and flip the phase, and you've got super clean. Once again, I got it over here as well. I'm using it on the first mic, but whatever. These are my settings here. 78 milliseconds release on the top mic. Bottom snare mic, I've got 218 milliseconds. Again, solo the one up, just raw. How freaking amazing is that? I got to thank Warren Hewitt for pointing that out. Now, I've got toms here as well. And I like a little bit of the ring on the toms in the mix. We're going to try this real quick. Because we get a little bit of crack off that snare. We got a few tom fills here. Not very many, though. I think we got maybe one here. Yep, like one. You know, I like to leave a bit of that ring in, but again, if I were to show you guys this, it'd be super simple. So what we're going to do is we're just going to mute out the gate on all these tom tracks. 1, 2, and 3. So we've got these selected. We're just going to duplicate all of these. There we go. And we're going to flip the phase on all 3 of those right now. So they'll all cancel. Here's the insane thing. Yeah, they've all got the same PSP Infinity Strip. I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know if these should be going to buses or not. Very interesting. Let's see what happens. Let's see if I drop a compressor onto one. See if we get anything. Oh, wow. Listen to that. Didn't that work great? Holy shit. It'd be like, hey, Glenn, why don't you just use the freeware gate? Because the gate's really good. But this is just a little bit different and just treats the signal a little bit differently than a standard gate would. Don't get me wrong. The gate in Reaper is one of my absolute favorites. It's one of the best digital gates ever, in my opinion. But let's just try and get this tom dialed in. A little more. There we go. Might get a little bit of a chuff off a snare there. Let's do the same thing with the toms. This should work. Cool. That's really something. Yeah, I'm not sure if we're actually supposed to be duplicating the effects on this or not. Let's take a listen to tom 2 and just take this off, see what happens. See if we're doubling the effect or not. Okay. If we take one out. Yeah, okay, that seems to work. I guess what's happening with the phase flip with the comp, it's only letting through this one. This is just canceling it out. So, hey, you know what? I'm not complaining. I don't know, this would be my first choice to do a tom gate, though. Seems to work really well on kick and really amazing on snare, especially for where there's a lot of hi-hat bleed. This might be a little bit of overkill, but it definitely will do the job. Not bad. Let's listen to that whole little segment one more time. Okay, totally not hearing the toms at all. Let's try that one more time. Those can definitely come up. That's no kidding. I can just about hear the floor tom, and that's about it. So we're going to crank these up a wee bit. See what we get. Remember. Hey, there it is. Heard it that time. There we go. Very cool indeed. That's definitely a neat trick. Like I said, I'd probably use that on kick and snare first before I'd wind up using it on toms. I think the RIA gate built into Reaper is going to do you absolutely fine, or the one built into the PSP Infinity Strip. Big fan of that gate as well. I really like the sound of it. I love the threshold, just the way how it treats drum tracks. I think it's outstanding. But that's a super simple solution to dealing with hi-hat bleed that's not going to cost you a penny and is a super efficient, super clean way of dealing with it. If you guys want to try this out on your own, I'm going to make my Reaper files available as well as just the raw multi-tracks. So if you're not on Reaper, you can get this as well, but I am going to include the multi-tracks with this. Just follow the link in the description below. Get yourself some awesome tracks and try playing around with your own style of drum mix. Definitely recommend doing that. Anyway, if you like the show, be sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. I'm doing tutorials every single Tuesday, and I'm going to show you guys what I learn as I go. Once again, many thanks to Mr. Warren Hewitt for the really cool idea. Definitely works on metal drums as well as regular drums. So there you go. Anyway, see you guys next time. Thanks again.